Okay, welcome to day 4, final day of the Cramathon. It's also something of a bleak, rainy, gray day over where I live, so perfect day to sit on the couch and read. It's also unseasonably cold, hence sweatshirt. So I'm just gonna cuddle up. Earlier this morning I finished The Queen's English. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because I just didn't particularly care for it. I didn't learn a whole lot, which is what I go to a nonfiction book for. I found that, in case you've forgotten, it's just like explanations of some British phrases, English phrases, excuse me. And I found that every time this offered a definition, I knew the definition and I wanted an etymology. And every time I wanted a definition, because I didn't actually know what that phrase meant, it gave me an etymology. So this book was kind of disappointing and will probably get unhauled. I think I'm actually going to make July an unhaul month as opposed to a haul month, because I haven't done one since February, and I definitely... This readathon is making me realize that I have books that I want to get rid of. And I have now started Lisa Lin Po. I'm like 4 pages in, so I have not yet formed an opinion on it. This is like my one proper sized novel of the readathon, so like it's possible I won't be able to finish it today. My concept of how fast I can read things has kind of been messed up by all these books in verse and graphic novels, but it does have like pretty sizable illustrations on several pages, and the font's big. So I just have no idea if I'm gonna finish this, and I have no idea if I'm going to get to the Heroides. I've already read the Heroides though, or I've already read some of them, so I will not be sad if I don't read it. And so if I don't finish Lisa Lin Po today, I will finish it tomorrow, and then I'm gonna go back to my Discworld adventures until the Booktubeathon, probably, unless I desperately feel the need to read something else, which has been happening a lot. Okay, so it's an hour later and I have read 6 more pages. I think I'm kind of hitting a burnout on all of this reading. I know that a lot of people thought that this was a 3-day readathon because the dates were a little confusing. It was actually a 4-day readathon. I think I'm just gonna make it a 3-day readathon though, because I'm a big believer in there has to be a really good reason for you to do something you don't want to do. So I'm not going to make myself read this book. It's not bad. I mean, I think I'm just not in the mood for it right now. So I'm gonna do another update later in the day in case I get back into it, and also just sort of wrap up my Cramathon experience. But I think I'm just gonna give Lisa Lin Po, I'm just gonna postpone it for a bit, and go back to Weird Sisters, which was the book that I interrupted to do the Cramathon. Okay, so we are now approaching evening, and I have read nothing in the intervening hours, and I am so okay with that. So just to wrap up and review what I have read, I started with The Princess Tales Volume 2 by Gail Carson Levine, which contains Cinderella's on the Glass Hill, For Biddle's Sake, and The Fairy's Return. And this was what I read for the Read a Children's Book Challenge. Song of the Sparrow by Lisa Ann Sandell, and this was my book in verse. Pictures for Sad Children by John Campbell, this was my graphic novel. Boxers and Saints by Jean Luen Yang. The Devil's Dictionary by Ambrose Bierce. Histoire de la Marquise de Banneville by François Timoleon de Choisy, Marie-Jeanne Laritier, and Charles Perrault. And finally, The Queen's English by C.J. Moore. I also read The Lady of Shalott, a poem which is related to Song of the Sparrow, but it's so short that I didn't count that for my readathon total. So not counting Lady of Shalott, and if you include the 3 books in the Princess Tales bind up as 3 separate books, which I do, I read 10 books this weekend. Unfortunately, with the exception of Marquise Marquis, of course, I didn't love them that much. Like, there was nothing really amazing, and I was like, wow, I didn't make any new book best friends. Most of them were just okay. But the good news is, the point of this readathon is to advance as far as you can, with your Goodreads challenge. I was only 2 books ahead of schedule when this readathon started, which I think is the lowest I've been all year, except for like that first week of January. And I was like, uh-oh, will I get behind? And now I am 11 books ahead of schedule. Is it 12? Yes, I am 12 books ahead of schedule. So now I can just like relax, maybe read something really long. I need to read The Crimson Petal and the White. Also, I did a bit of math and I read 1,536 pages for this readathon. And of course, there were 2 more books on my TBR that I had planned to read. They were Lisa Lynn Poe and The Heroides. Actually, I say I had planned to read them. I didn't really think I would be able to get through all of these books. I just wanted to have options to switch it up if I wanted to. And of course, the challenge that Woody Novels posed to us was to read 5 books. I read 10, so it's all good. Good readathon, good time. I hope you have enjoyed watching my descent into madness and then return to the mortal realm. I will see you soon.